How do I get Krishna to like me? Actually, that's Krishna's business. It's building on the theological ideas of the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna just chooses who he likes in his eternal abode. He doesn't want a lot of miserable people. It's not necessarily about hard and fast rules. There's not a clear definition of who will be chosen and who will not. It's the ones that Krishna cleaves to, who Krishna likes. Very much a doctrine of divine grace.
Krishna, an enchanting flute player, the infinite joy, the love of Radha, the divine friend, the guide, the eternal refuge of every longing heart. He is the joy, love, surrender, the truth in the very essence of life itself. He is the heartbeat of devotion, the very breath of love, the butter thief who stole not just butter, but the hearts of millions, the beloved of Radha, whose love transcended all boundaries, the divine charioteer who led Arjuna through the storm of doubt. If you worship any other god, rituals and discipline are the foremost things. But Krishna does not care for rituals. There are no rules to worship him, no strict codes, no grand ceremonies required, because the way of Krishna is bhakti. To worship him is not only about rituals, but to make him your own. Different hearts have seen and experienced him in many different ways. If we talk about Meera, for her, Krishna was not just God. He was her husband, her reason to live, her very soul. Her devotion for Krishna was so pure, her love was so fierce, so divine, that she became love itself. She did not seek Krishna in the temple. She saw him in the sky, the wind, in every breath she took. No earthly relationship could compare to her spiritual marriage with Krishna. And how could Krishna ignore such devotion? He had to come. He had to embrace her. Because a love that asks for nothing, that surrenders everything, becomes irresistible even to God. Radha, who was a simple woman of the village, very innocent, compassionate, and full of unfaltering love, not just Krishna's lover, but his very soul. Her love was silent, yet it spoke louder than any word could. Every moment apart from Krishna felt like an eternity of pain to her, yet she never demanded, never questioned. It was the kind of love that doesn't bind, but liberates. It doesn't hold, but surrenders. And that is why, today, when we say Krishna, we cannot help but say Radha, because Krishna is incomplete without the one who loved him beyond all the limits. Yashoda Ma knew Krishna was divine. She knew the entire cosmos rested in his tiny hands, and yet to her, he was only her little Gopal, her little boy who needed her love. She fed him, scolded him, and held him close to her heart, aware that the very creator of the universe longed for her embrace, and Krishna let himself be bound by her love. When he ran through the fields covered in dust, she saw not a god, but her child. When he played his flute, enchanting the world, she saw not a miracle, but the joy of a son lost in his own world. And when he lay asleep in her lap, she held him close, whispering soft lullabies, as if she could keep him hers forever. Arjuna never worshipped, nor did he make any offerings to Krishna. He was in fact unaware that he is a god. To him, Krishna was his dearest friend. Yet when Arjuna stood by doubts in the battlefield, his hands trembling, his heart torn between duty and love. He looked up with tear-filled eyes and asked, "How do I raise my weapon against those I love?" And in that moment, Krishna gave him wisdom and truth. Because he does not ask only for rituals, he seeks a surrender of the heart. So how can one make Krishna their true friend? Krishna does not ask for riches. He does not ask for elaborate ceremonies. He asks for a heart that loves him without conditions. If one love him like Meera, expect nothing, give everything, surrender to him with such intensity that the world dissolves and only he remains. If one see him everywhere, like Radha, in the trees, in the rivers, in the eyes of a child, in the cries of the helpless, see Krishna everywhere and fill your heart with love. If one serve him without ego, feed the hungry, help the needy, and know that Krishna resides in every one of them. Every act of kindness will be an offering at his feet. If one reads his words, live it and breathe it. If one surrenders like Yashoda, love Krishna not as a distant god, but as your own, your child, your friend, your beloved. Letting him into your heart, one can literally experience him in every ounce of breath, every breeze, rays of sun, and the light of the moon. Krishna is not far. He is here at this very moment, waiting for you to call him with love. He is not found in grand temples alone. He is found in your heart, in your longing, in your love. Worship him not for transaction, but with surrender. Not with formality, but with passion. Call him with all your heart, and he will come to you like he always has. To know Krishna is to live as he lived. If we look at his life, from the moment he was born, he got separated from his mother's arms, a boy whose first lullaby was the sound of prison chains rattling. He was not cradled in the comfort of his mother Devaki's arms, but carried away in the dead of night. Before he could even speak, there were swords drawn against him. Before he could take his first steps, there were enemies plotting his end. His own uncle sent a wave of demons to finish him, yet Krishna, with the laughter of a child and the wisdom of eternity, danced through every battle as if it were a game. He knew it all. He knew the betrayals that awaited, the wars that would be fought, the grief that would one day weigh upon his shoulders. And yet he smiled, a smile that held the patience of the universe, a grace that could soften even the cruelest of hearts. He never cursed those who wronged him. Never did his heart hold resentment for the hands that raised weapons against him. He fought not out of hatred, but out of duty. He loved not out of need, but because love was his very nature. Krishna walked this earth as if he belonged to everyone, and yet to no one. A warrior with no vengeance, a lover with no attachment, a God who chose to be human so we could understand what divinity truly means. He is all of it, and yet beyond it all. Krishna's path is not for the serious or shackled by the weight of life. It is the path of Leela, the divine play. Leela for the dance of existence, the song of the universe. But to walk this path, one must be full of love, lightness, and life itself. Krishna is not just a name, he is an experience. And once you taste even a drop of that, you are never the same again.